Hi, and welcome to The Curling Show, the podcast that brings you interviews with the sport's top athletes and the people who shape the game. Brought to you by Fit to Curl, a sport-specific guide to training for the world's greatest game by John Morris, Olympic gold medalist, of course, with some help from me, Dean Gemmel. If you're starting to think about getting back on the ice, or maybe you're starting your first season in our sport, the curling-specific fitness programs in the book will help you make more shots, sweep more effectively, and feel better on the ice. You can buy Fit to Curl at fittocurl.com, at your favorite curling pro shop, and at select chapters in Kohl's stores in Canada. Skip of the team that enters the season at number 9 on the order of merit after finishing number 6 on the money list last season, Mike McEwen, welcome back to the Curling Show.
Thanks for having me, Dean.
You're coming off what for most teams, and I think for your team, had to be considered a really solid season, maybe even a great season. I think the disappointment for your team probably was not getting through to the Tim Hortons Royal of the Rings, the Canadian Olympic trials. Apart from that, what kind of grade do you give to last season?
Yeah, you know what? It was one of those seasons where it was an A season, and either winning that last game to get to the Olympic trials or winning our final game to get to the Brier would have made it an A+ season for sure.
How do you get past those two losses, actually? Besides a lot of beer and something else, I guess. But
yeah, it's tough to take losses like that. But the nice thing is we have had a lot of success in other things too. So it's not like our season necessarily clinched on that one particular moment to define us as far as the growth of our team. So I'm still pretty optimistic for where we can go in the future.
Yeah, I mean, your team was a bit like a PGA Tour player, puts up just a ton of solid finishes, but just missing a couple of those wins. At the same time, you're probably realistic. I don't think you ever thought going into last season that it was your season to win at the Canadian Olympic trials either. No,
we knew we still had a lot of, ground to make up as far as the distance between a lot of the good teams and even your Martin and Howard. So we knew we wanted to make leaps and bounds and hopefully give ourselves a chance. So we definitely didn't have we had high expectations, but not anything that if we didn't win it all, we weren't going to be disappointed.
Your girlfriend is Dawn Askin, part of the Jennifer Jones rink. Of course, they had a pretty well-publicized change this year. I talked to John Mead about that, and he talked about how teams have a shelf life. Your team's now entering, I guess it's fourth season together? Is that right, or third?
Yeah, this is our fourth year.
Fourth season together. Do you ever worry that maybe you haven't timed the shelf life just right for the next Olympic go-around?
This is probably the longest I've ever had a team, so it's kind of a little bit new ground for myself and a couple of guys on the team. But I think we're all still getting better, and we're getting better as a team. So I don't think we've got stale yet or anything like that. We continue to climb that proverbial ladder. So I think, I hope our timing is right. In 3 years from now, where we've finally hit our peak and can be one of those teams to watch for going into Olympic trials and whatnot.
Well, what makes next season? What would you consider a satisfying season?
We definitely want to keep improving upon our performances, and I think for us more than just qualifying now is looking at winning events. A big goal of ours is obviously getting to the Brier. That's probably first and foremost, and secondly is probably trying to win a major like a Canada Cup or a Grand Slam event. I think that's kind of the next step for us to be able to win a big event. So looking forward to the challenge.
Yeah, I'd say a Grand Slam one would certainly be big for you guys next year. It's been interesting to watch your team and see you go from scraping by in games to consistently qualifying and then in Grand Slams getting into playoffs. Hey, you saw former junior teammate Nolan Thiessen win a world championship last year, and you were also a teammate of Marc Kennedy, Olympic gold medalist, of course. You're a teammate of his at the World University Games. What's it like when you watch old teammates get those big wins?
You know what? It's actually really exciting. There's definitely not, feelings of jealousy or anything like that. More so just
good friends,
pure adrenaline. I got to say, when I watched that final rock of when Cooey won the Brier, and I watched that final rock, Nolan and Carter sweep that down, and I had it on the PVR, so I watched it over and over again, and I just got goosebumps seeing it. It was an adrenaline rush. It was exciting. So I enjoyed watching them play. I was definitely rooting for them.
Well, that was a terrific Tim Hortons Brier final, that's for sure. And it was an exciting finish when a guy draws the lid to win.
There's not too many times where I've jumped up and down during a game, but yeah, I definitely raised the roof a little bit there.
So you jump up and down when you're watching a game at home, but you're one of the last guys, I would imagine, would jump up and down when you're playing yourself. I sometimes wonder if you're a little short of joy on the ice, Mike.
Yeah, I know. Probably all four of us. Maybe we come across, a little bit tense, a little too hard on ourselves on the ice, and we're one of those teams where I think we still, people haven't really seen us open up as far as personalities on the ice. Sometimes, if you're not used to the TV camera, that can kind of change how a team functions on the ice. I think we're definitely a lot more loose and down to earth than maybe we show when we're in a tense game on TV. So I'm looking forward to us to getting more comfortable with those situations.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see who in your team is the feel-good guy in your team, the guy because I got to be honest, so far I haven't seen it. You guys are awfully hard on yourselves. I think like all good teams are, but I'm waiting to see who emerges as the easygoing guy or the guy who keeps everybody loose.
Yeah, we've kind of talked about that. I'm not sure if we've figured out who's that guy to take that role.
It's tough to get someone to change their personality.
Yeah, I know. It's maybe we're all kind of a little bit alike in that sense as far as our on ice demeanor, and yeah, that's one thing that if you have that guy who kind of takes that easygoing, lightens everybody up, and that guy can be a real asset as far as team chemistry on the ice. So hopefully we continue to kind of make improvements in that area to keep the mood light.
Improvements in that area. It's a tough one to improve, I gotta say. And some teams just go without it. Everybody, there's some teams of 4 guys in tents like that. It works, and you'll figure it out. What do you make of some of the new teams in Manitoba this year? Lots of shuffling around. John Meade back with Jeff Stoughton, Rob Fowler with his own team, Kevin Park with a new lineup. What's your take on these new teams?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I don't really know if there's any team that's really the same other than us. I'm looking forward to it. I think some of those teams will surprise and do very well, and I think there might be a few that really don't perform as you might think. So I'm looking forward to it to see who kind of steps up in the role to take on guys like us and Stoughton and so forth. If there's anybody that steps up into that role, I think there will be. So.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it shakes out there. I guess Kevin Park's team is certainly an interesting one, and
I thought he would go back to Alberta, but I guess he likes our weather's not really much colder than Alberta, but I guess he likes it here.
Do you think he really is a Manitoba resident?
Dude, well, I mean, maybe for certain months of the year he is.
Do you think it matters though?
Well, I mean, I guess there's varying opinions on that. Sure, with the history of the Brier and that kind of those ideals, you'd like it to kind of be purely, provincial representation, and you like guys to play in their own province. But at the end of the day, as a competitor, I still want to beat the best. So it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, it's a tricky one because I think that ship has kind of sailed in terms of that. But I think the provincial rivalries do help the game though. Speaking of another Manitoba curler, somewhat of a contemporary of yours, a little younger, I guess, but Jason Gunlickson and with two teammates heading to play out of Russia this year, although still, of course, spending most of their time in Canada. What were your thoughts on that?
Well, you know what? Thought about it, and there's a lot of people that were for it and against it, and I got to say, if I was in their particular position, I would have jumped at it. They're relative. They're younger than our team. Maybe not the commitments. As far as maybe career or ladies or wives, whatever you want to call it. So, in their position, I think it's an opportunity they couldn't refuse. I was kind of happy to kick their butts one last time before they hit the road to Moscow just a week or two ago. So,
in the summer spiel.
Yeah, so that was kind of nice to play them before they left. But I think they'll do well.
Yeah, I don't think it's certainly not going to do anything to harm their development as curlers. And when you say you would have jumped at it, I think you're saying if you were in their position, you would have jumped at it.
Yeah, not.
I mean, if they'd offered it to you last March, would you have jumped at it with your team?
No, not in my position, and not in my team's position. We kind of talked about it. What if we had got asked for that particular thing? And in our position, it's not something we really would have considered. I guess everybody probably does have their price.
Yeah,
but
that's a good point.
For what the offer, from what we know of the offer, it's not something that we would have said yes. We're in a little bit, better situation as far as I think our team's been together for a long time. We have some pretty good corporate sponsorship and support, so we're pretty happy with where we are and want to represent Manitoba and Canada first and foremost.
Speaking of playing in Canada, how about the change in the Olympic trials process from a 2-year process or from a 3-year process to a 2-year process? Do you like that?
Yeah, absolutely. I thought it was a bit long, the last go around. Even though we didn't really get into it, realistically, as far as a team that you would think that would qualify for the pre-trials or anything above that, we kind of got in there about 2 years running, but that kind of seemed like the perfect time frame as far as having a team together and being able to still, now guys can try things, and if you got to make a change, it's not the end of the world. After next season, you still have a lot of, you're not kind of, it's at a disadvantage.
It might really help you if your shelf life problem really does emerge.
Yeah, like you said, if apparently my shelf life, it seems like.
I'm not saying anything, Mike. I'm just, I'm just musing here. That's all.
Yeah, well, for sure though. It gives you an extra year opportunity to kind of maybe try some new things that you haven't tried before, and if it's not working, then maybe make that change that gets a spark lit under you.
Hey, the Relev Camp is underway, or getting underway, I guess. Is that a camp you've gone to in the past?
Yes, I went to, it was probably about 4 years ago, something like that, just before this, we made this team. I think I went to one in Guelph. And
what's your take on those sort of, what was your take on it? What do you think about them?
You know what, it was, I gotta say, I had a lot of fun. And
wait a minute, that's not in the mandate of the CCA on what happens at this camp?
Yeah, maybe
there's nothing in the documents about fun, Mike.
Yeah, but I don't know if maybe back then I didn't have my head in the right place, but I had a lot of fun. It was probably a good 4 or 5 years ago that I went, but I think they're good things as far as passing on some information, especially some things that they've been really working on with studies and whatnot leading up to the Olympics. Hopefully that can kind of help our younger curlers come up in the game and compete against the best and not get discouraged.
All right. Hey, Mike, since you listen to the show, I think, and you've been on before, we finish with the run back. I give you a topic, and you give me your thoughts in 1 to 3 words.
All right, sounds good.
The recent rule changes adopted by the World Curling Federation.
Missing a couple things I would have liked to see.
Oh, really? What would you have liked to have seen?
I would have liked to have seen a change to the timing system.
Oh, the thinking time that's a no-brainer. I agree with you. I can't understand why they don't do that.
I think that's, it's a perfect solution, but I guess might take a little bit longer before they see that.
I can't understand why people don't see that one. It boggles my mind. How about there's really no timeouts now. You can have your coach come out once, sort of, but your coach, he or she must sort of do a mad dash from the back, I guess, to get out.
And your time keeps running.
Yeah, what do you think about that?
I don't like it.
What would you rather have?
Well, I mean, the purpose of a timeout is, or at least in the past, has been sometimes it's just to save time, so you can, because under the old timing rules, your clock runs for your whole shot. If you're playing a bunch of draws, that can eat a lot of time, and sometimes you're saving that last timeout just to have enough time to finish the last few shots of a complicated game. And
or throw your last one. I mean, we've seen that a lot.
Yeah, I mean, now you don't have that option, so I don't really agree with not having that at least some kind of safety net there. But I guess play faster.
See, what I don't understand is I wouldn't have a problem with coaches not coming out at all during a game myself.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would have been fine. I don't think the issue was. It seems to me it's a rule change that doesn't solve much. But anyways, I don't quite get that one. I would have been fine with timeouts and no coaches on the ice, but now we're going to have sprinting coaches, I guess. A
little bit of a compromise would have been okay, but they kind of just took it all away.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to move on. I sort of belabored that one. But how about the yields on DeKalb canola hybrids?
I'd have to ask my uncles who are good farmers.
Oh, I thought you were going to say sensational or something. I mean, I've seen so much about these canola hybrids, and boy, they've got to have some kind of yield, I guess. I'm a guy sitting in New Jersey watching curling. So, anyways, the NHL back in Quebec City before Winnipeg, maybe.
I'll believe it when I see it.
The new top secret brush head that Balance Plus will be revealing any day.
Good for women curlers.
You're on top of it. You knew about that? When did you hear about that?
I actually just read Al Cameron's article today.
You and me both, I guess. It's summertime.
So I was kind of afraid to say that, but that's, I guess, what I'm saying, that big guys like Ben and Marc will burn the ice off with them. So. Well,
it sounds like that it almost should be illegal for the men's. What do you think? Do you think we're ripping the pebble off the ice too much these days?
I think there is something to be said with, you often do see kind of one synthetic, one hair out there, and I don't know if that's, sometimes it's an issue with, the frost and whatnot, but it does seem, if you got a whole bunch of synthetics going on the ice, you kind of wonder if you have really good sweeping teams, if you are kind of breaking down that pebble prematurely. So I don't know if, I'm sure they've looked at that in the study, increasing that friction with the broom head might be a problem.
Yeah, and now there's going to be a new brush head. I mean, there's nothing, I guess, to prevent somebody from using it. But you guys don't bust out the hair brooms too much, the hair brushes, though, do you?
Yeah, we do. Depending on the ice conditions, we'll switch it up between synthetic and hair. So.
Okay, so you have. I just haven't seen it maybe as much as some other teams. But and when do you like to use the hair?
Well, especially if there's a bit of frost. Sometimes in the arenas, if it gets warm or whatnot, you can get that creeping in, and just the hair on the outside seems to clear that up a little better.
Finally, the noise level during the Olympic curling.
Craziness.
Yeah, I think it was a good example, though, of just how much noise can be tolerated during a curling event. I think it's quite a bit.
It's unbelievable. I watched some of it on a straight feed from the Olympics with no commentary. All I could hear was the crowd noise and the players talk, and it was unbelievable watching it like that.
Really?
Just to hear the noise of the crowd and the players talk, and no commentary, but it was still so exciting. It was amazing to watch it, kind of in both modes.
Yeah, I mean that is sort of interesting with Mike players in our game. You certainly get a lot of information. Bruce Rainey on this show said Don Whitman told him to get out of the way of the players because they're the best. You know, you've got 8 experts on the ice. So yeah, well, just crowd noise and players would be great. And I didn't watch it that way. That would have been a good way to do it.
There's no commercials. It was just straight feed all the way through. So you even got some bits from fifth end breaks and between end breaks, and so it was kind of it was a different viewing experience. I like the change.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly think I know some of the players complained about it at times, not being able to hear and things like that. But I tended to think that it served a purpose to prove that we could tolerate a lot of noise at a curling venue, and maybe we get a little too golf-like at times. But anyways,
I think for the most part, most guys will say they don't mind it.
Right.
It's kind of it's a fun experience. More people in there, so.
All right, Mike. We give everybody a chance to name their sponsors. You mentioned that you had some, so let's find out who they are. Yeah,
we got a good group of sponsors with us going into next year. Royal LePage Prime, Crackberry.com, AFIG Financial Services, Performance Brush, Auto City Mazda, and A&W Steinbach.
What's Crackberry.com? Is that like a BlackBerry accessory place?
You've never heard of Crackberry.com?
No, I haven't. I'm revealing myself to be aged.
Check it out.
I'm going right now.
It's definitely it's owned by BlackBerry.
It is owned by BlackBerry.
And
I mean, I know the expression Crackberry. I just didn't know Crackberry.com. Is it?
It was actually it was started by a Manitoban, and
nice.
I from what I know, it was bought out by BlackBerry. And
so it's accessories and apps and everything else?
Yeah, you name it. Applications, accessories, themes, and ringtones and all sorts of stuff. Yeah.
I'm here right now. I mean, I know I shouldn't say this to Canadians, but I'm an Apple guy, so I don't know what I'll get here. But it's interesting that they're sponsoring you. You guys should have Blackberries on your belts or something while you're playing, like...
see, maybe we can get some customizable faceplates and some things like that with our logos on them. We'll see what we can get.
All right. Well, good for you, Mike. I appreciate it. Good luck this season. It's been great to see a young team sort of enter the. I would say you've cracked the top. Let's call it top 6, and it's great to see some new guys in there like you guys are, and smile a bit more this year and enjoy yourself.
Sounds good. I hope we can, like you said, open up a bit and entertain.
All right. Thanks, Mike.
All right. Thanks, you.
That's Mike McEwen on The Curling Show. Train the right way for your favorite sport by following the curling-specific programs in Fit to Curl by Olympic gold medalist John Morris. Available at fittocurl.com, at your favorite curling pro shop, and at select chapters in Kohl's stores in Canada. Thanks for listening. We're looking forward to another season full of good interviews.